at 6:30 p.m. on February 25th, 2025. Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. I apologize up front if my voice just disappears. It's been happening. Okay.
I'm sitting over
Please, roll call, please.
Mayor Jerry Daly.
Here.
Trustees Richmond. Present. George Duberstein.
Here.
Priest.
Here.
Georgianne Duberstein.
here.
And Williams.
Here.
Trustee Koval is absent.
All right, we have a quorum. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Trustees Richmond. Aye. George Duberstein.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Any public comments?
So far, so good.
Thank you. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda. So
Second.
roll call.
Trustees Richmond. Aye. George Duberstein.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein. Aye. And Williams.
Aye. Okay, reports. Mary's not here for finance, and Kelly has been dealing with some medical issues at home. So unless you have any specific questions about anything impacting on finances, we'll move on. Great Age Club.
The Great Age Club meets on the first Tuesday of the month at 10:30 at the Village Hall. And we have programs, speakers, we play bingo, or dominoes, or have movies. And we invite anyone over 60 that's not even a resident of Hainesville. If you have a friend that lives in Grace Lake and you and she want to come, or you and he want to come, that would be lovely. We're going to have a spring fling, just a party for no good reason, but just have a party on March 22nd. We're getting some new members here and there, and that is all well.
All right, Swallow.
It's welcome. There's a national movement called Recycling Coach, and it's all over the country, and Swelco is a part of it. And what it does is it wants to get the data from all the villages and whatever other agencies that deal with it, as to when the waste is picked up and whether we have recycling and all that. But also it has a way that individual residents can get questions answered, like, can I put the cap on the bottle in the recycling? Can I put plastic bags in recycling? And it'll be able to be answered as well. So, as I say, Swelco is part of it, and I'm hoping that that we would be able to be part of it too. And I thought we would deal with it after the election to see.
For the students, we tell them what Swallow stands for.
Swelco is Solid Waste Agency for Lake County. And it deals with all the solid waste, the garbage and recycling, and that's what it is. And we have dates for our compost event is May 10th from 10 to 1, 10 to 1 or 10 to 2?
10 to 3.
10 to 3. And because of the problem, the construction over at the Public Works Building, we're holding that at Avon Township. And we also have another date for our shredding and recycling of any and everything for July 19th. It's also a Saturday, and that'll be in the Prairie View School parking lot. It's been approved that we can use that. So mark your calendars, save your treasures that you want to pass along, and hope to see you then.
Amen. So, George?
We have a date with the Gun Club for the 18th and 19th, Saturday and Sunday, the third weekend in October. So, and we've begun planning for that.
All right, thank you. Christina, clerk?
Not much. The only thing I have is that we do now have a confirmed date and time of March 19th at 6:30 p.m. for our trustee candidates forum. It will be held here at the Village Hall, moderated by the League of Women Voters.
Mayor's report. There's not one in the packet because I was on vacation, but there is one here. And I'll highlight a few things and we can take a look at others. All right. I want to talk about 1, 2, and 3. Number 1, the welfare project has gone out for bid. Bid opening will be held at 10 a.m. on March 17th here at the Village Hall. And the best bid will be before the board on March 25th. If the board approves the bid that evening, it will complete 4 years of planning and preparation. Construction would start as early as May 2025. 2, as you all know, the April 1st elections will have a significant effect on the future of the village. We are guaranteed a new mayor and potentially 3 new trustees. It is vitally important that the trustee candidates participate in the candidates forum on March 19th. With that piece of information, Chris and Kevin, did you both receive the information from the Women's League of Voters?
Yeah, it's all taken care of.
Okay. As of this evening, in a conversation with Jeannie Kirby, she hasn't received anything from either of you.
I scanned it and sent it from Office Max. I got confirmation and a receipt if she wants it.
No, as long as you're confident it's sent in.
I'm going to be sending it tonight.
Okay, very good. All righty. The Treasurer, Finance Chair, and myself completed the first review of the 2025-26 budget. In general, we are in good shape. Our long-term approach and practice of developing and annually replenishing our general fund reserve account and water fund reserve account continues to serve us well, every pun intended. The board will be presented a balanced budget in the near future, which will include an approximately $750,000 loan to fund the majority of the well Fork project. Those are the highlights. If you get a chance to read it, or if you have any questions, I'll take them now.
This is actually the same amount we went for last time, right?
Yes,
So the rest of it
will come out of reserve.
will come out of reserve.
Yes.
That'll take us down to what, about 500 left in reserve?
No, I don't have the exact figures with me, but we'll be better than that. We'll have it laid out for you when we present the budget.
Because we did approve, I think it was 300 was going to be the minimum?
Yes, for one of the reserve accounts.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Question. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Ann. Go ahead.
Thank you. If the bids come in under 750 or under what?
Under the cost, projected cost.
Yeah, under the projected cost, would we take out a lower loan or would we take out less than reserves?
I think my reading would be to take out a lower loan. What we projected was the amount that we would take out of the reserve funds will still leave us a substantial amount in both of those accounts. Okay?
You're following up on that, and then I have another question. I got the impression that the loan we're gonna take out is like something you have, like an equity loan on your house, where you don't pay anything until you start drawing something out.
We want to repeat what we did a year ago, where we take it out like that. You know, we were required to take out 50,000 right off the bat, pay interest on that.
Right.
But yes, the same procedure. It's what we're aiming for, the same procedure. You only take it out when you need it,
Okay.
and you only pay for what you take out.
The question is regarding item number 7, where you talked about restaurant operations not being allowed in the agricultural zone. You're talking about the restaurant in the club, not a new restaurant.
Yeah. The Brett Saber of the club came to me and said, we were looking at, they want to somewhere in the future apply for FFL, which is a federal firearms license, which would allow members, they're not going to sell guns at the club, but would allow members to purchase guns, have them delivered to the club, and then the club could, if they have the FFL, can give it to the member. All gun purchases have to go through an FFL. So that's somewhere down the line. So we got talking about zoning, and I called Housel Levine and said, what do we need to do? And John Housel took a look at our current ordinances and zoning regs and noticed, said, you know, what they got is prohibited. Now, it's been there forever. The restaurant's been there since the club was built. They have a shop where they sell mementos, T-shirts, that sort of stuff. And that's not allowed in A. So John is putting together new ordinances to cover those exceptions, not open it up to anybody else, but just cover what is there. So in the future, when I'm gone, when Brett is gone, whoever sits here or sits there will know exactly what the limitations are. In some ways, it's like what we did with that course number 9. That's the one that's closest to where we prohibited them using it without getting businesses permission. Okay. If you want.
We don't have any ideas as a separate item here of any restaurant of interest.
No.
Mayor, so a question for you. So a federal firearms license. So, for example, if you live in a state, you can get a concealed carry weapon. So that's at the federal level we're talking about. These people are getting a license from the federal government.
To be able to transfer weapons. For example, if client A buys a particular shotgun from somebody in Maryland, it can't be delivered directly to client A. It has to be delivered to an FFL, and then FFL can transfer it to the client.
Gotcha.
You mentioned concealed carry. That's not a federal thing.
No.
Oh, no, that's what I was just trying to comparison, but no, I totally understand. That makes sense because it's tracked.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you, sir.
Speaking of agricultural and restaurants, there's the Oak Grove on the south side of 120.
On your side.
It's past the railroad tracks. Now, that's privately owned. They would just have to get it rezoned. It's not like they can ever build anything there, but they would have to get it rezoned first.
This has in or either egg.
I mean, it was part of the farm, so I don't know
I was just
whether.
saying, because the businesses.
Give me a second. I'm going to run them off because I got the map. And I'll tell you what, if it's an or either egg.
if they wanted to build something through the Oak Road.
And,
on the
Right
south
here where the
side.
village signs up, it's ORB, so it's under a different set.
Oh,
of zoning laws.
okay. I just knew that it was part of the farm, so I didn't know if it was still active.
All right, any other questions on the mayor's report? Was the public works report included? Okay, very good. All right, business. And I'll give more of an explanation under discussion and put up a map so you can understand. But right now I need a motion for an ordinance excluding from the village of Hainesville's corporate boundaries certain unoccupied territory lying along the boundary line between the village of Hainesville and the village of Grays Lake.
So, second.
Okay, discussion. Hold on a second. Okay. This is Lord Glory Church, Highway 120. This piece of property is Hainesville. This piece of property, which includes part of the church, is Grays Lake. This is Grays Lake. This is Grays Lake. This is Hainesville. So you can see. In 1988, Grays Lake and Hainesville had an agreement to transfer this piece of property to let Grays Lake annex it. Hainesville passed an ordinance in 1988 saying, yes, that's fine. Grays Lake never followed up with an ordinance, never followed up at all. It just disappeared. About a year ago, Wally, you were working over there?
Yeah.
Wally was a member of the church and was working on something over here, and he had promised to look up ownership, and he brought this to my attention. The interesting thing, it's right up here on this piece of property, is the Welcome to Grays Lake sign.
Did we get the rent first?
So I called Mike Ellis, the village manager, and said, Mike, you owe us some rent. So that started the process all over again. We received no tax from this property because it's church property. And since we made the agreement a long time ago, thought we'd consider it again. So, questions, discussion?
Who was mayor of Hainesville in 1998?
Was it 1998? I'm sorry. Let's see, I got on the board in '09, and Ted was there for
Yeah, it was
either Benjamin or Ted.
Benjamin.
George Benjamin?
Yeah.
Okay, but Hainesville had done what they said they would.
Yeah.
And then my follow-up was, do you know who was mayor in Grays Lake at that time?
No idea.
And what exactly does Grays Lake need to do if we start this process over and say yes?
We get, let's hear the documents in here.
It was.
They just need to pass an ordinance as well?
Yeah, right. Sign some documents that we have, that we signed and pass an ordinance.
And then do we need to register this with
The county,
the county?
I believe they will, because they're taking ownership. Okay?
Map makers will know.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, any other questions? Roll call, please.
Trustees Richmond.
Aye.
George Duberstein.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein.
Hi.
And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried. Ordinance number 25-2-374.
Did you guys get a chance to see this? Any questions about it?
Yeah, what's the advantage or disadvantage to Hainesville to do this?
None, one way or the other, right? No, since it's a church, there's no real estate tax. We get nothing.
Okay.
It's just that if any improvements are going to be made, that'll be through Grays Lake.
Yeah, let me first.
Yeah, and if you looked at, the property line actually split the building. Okay, the sanctuary was actually in Hainesville, and the school and gymnasium was actually in Grays Lake.
Yeah, I remember that now when we were talking about it, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, And when I was doing some road work over there, and when they mentioned it to me, I looked at it, I says, and they said, well, it's all already been taken care of. And that's when we checked, it was not. It was never completed. So,
What year was the church built?
the original building, which was just the school and stuff like that, was built in 2000, I think year 2000. The church was 2010, and there were add-ons in 2015. So it's been like a progression. Okay.
That's interesting that all this construction happened.
And they all went to Grays Lake
Yeah.
for all the permits.
Yeah.
You know, and it was, and the thing is, we're building in Hainesville. And, you know, I said the same thing. I was like, okay.
If they went to Grace Lake, would that make it illegal?
Let's not overthink
Let's
it.
just,
I'm still trying to get the rent for the sign.
yeah.
All right, thank you. Need a motion?
Michael has some cup of coffee.
I need a motion for the approval of a one-year extension of Dave Schultz snow plowing contract.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
So, just a question, because the way things are going with climate change and a lack of rain and a lack of snow, will we lower the amount that we would pay him because we don't have the same snowfalls, or we haven't had the same snowfalls?
His pay, his contract is based on usage, on snow. Doesn't snow, he doesn't get money.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, to look forward to the next board, beyond, if we pass this contract, for the last 2 years, Dave has lost money because he has to pay for his equipment. The insurance is a killer. A number of other companies that we looked at before, and Dave is aware of when we went out to bid, have a flat rate. We get paid this much, whether it snows or not, and if it snows more, we get paid more. So that might be something facing the new board.
When do we typically, when we've gone out to bid in the past for plow contracts, when do we, has the board usually done that process?
Well, Dave's contract expires, I think,
April.
The end of April.
end of this. So I would suspect that it would be in March or April, so we could sew it up for the next season. When we have gone out for bid, I will admit it's been a long time. No one has come close to Dave's. And we generally have no complaints about the service. All right, so roll call, please.
Trustees Richmond.
Aye.
George Duberstein.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein.
Aye.
And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Good. Need a motion for a resolution authorizing participation in the ComEd Green Region Program for the Meadows Path Project. Motion?
Yep, so
Okay.
Second.
Discussion?
I'm passing along a very rough, I never passed art in school. A very rough drawing of what we're looking at to propose for a grant.
Anybody wants?
It's a mixture.
You can see we've developed the wood chip path and put some trees in, so we're working on improving that area. The cattails and the phragmites were herbicided and then cut and mowed down, so we have this big open space now, which everybody seems to like. And what we're proposing is they would give us $10,000 and we would have to put up only $5,000 rather than a matching grant.
A little modification on that, Georgiana. We'll apply for 10.
Right.
And whatever we get,
Right.
we have to match 50%.
So what we're thinking of is near the edges of the path where it's high, we would put the benches and then put gardens on the other side of the path, but formal gardens, similar to what the formal gardens look like in the gathering place. The whole area has been seeded after it was burned. So the other thing that we're looking to do is to add plugs of live plants that would make the beautification happen faster than just waiting for the seeds. Obviously, we're not going to be able to cover the whole thing because $15,000 doesn't go that far, but we would, and we have different areas in that meadow. The ones that are closest to the pond need water-loving plants, and then as you move higher up, the plants could be more what they call mesic, where it's drier, but the whole area still has a wettish possibility depending on what happens to those ponds. And you have seen sometimes they have dried up and there were no ponds, and sometimes it was one big gigantic pond.
Yeah.
So we're obviously going to be careful as to where we plant things.
In order to apply for this, we have to supply a resolution. Okay, any questions for Georgia?
No, thank you for doing this. That is nice.
Roll call.
Trustee Richmond? Aye. George Duberstein?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein?
Aye.
And Williams?
Aye.
Motion carried, resolution number 25-2-180.
Thank you.
Christina will give you the actual resolutions.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. I need a motion to accept a proposal for McMahon Services for exterior painting of the Village Hall and the small garage behind us, an amount of $14,000.28.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
How often does the village hall typically get painted? Is it, and are there things that we
We
can do
did
to
it.
prolong the life of our paint?
We did it, I believe, my first year as mayor, so 8 years ago, and it's a stain over wood, and it's just worn out. And, you know, earlier this year, we had to fix some rotting wood, so that's when we got a chance to look at it, and figured, yeah, probably best to take care of it. So this would be not paint, but actual stain, wood stain.
Is this cedar? And when you have that, it's more costly to maintain it than it is paint and leave it for 10 years or 15 years.
All right, other questions?
Would this be something, Mayor, that Public Works could do?
No.
No.
Power wash, sand when necessary, we just don't have the talent
Or the equipment.
or the equipment.
Okay.
Well, the personnel.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
roll call please.
Trustees Richmond? Aye. George Duberstein?
Aye.
Reese?
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein?
Aye.
And Williams?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I need a motion to approve a 12-month electric supplier contract not to exceed the supplier rate of 0.07476 kilowatts per hour.
So moved.
Second. Second.
Discussion.
But are we still going to deal with comment though? I mean, this is,
Yeah.
can you elaborate, because I'm just curious.
I'm going to read what Kelly said.
Sure.
Since 2012, Village utilized a progressive business solution to obtain supplier quotes for electric cost savings to the village. These savings are for the village's well houses and lift stations. The other comment accounts, which include our street lights, water tower, are already at a lower rate. Our current supplier, illegal energy, expires in March. We've been doing these one-year contracts. Progressive is recommending a one-year agreement with Direct Energy, as they were the lowest of the suppliers that were reviewed. There is no incentive for more than a 12-month term currently as those rates get higher. The village will still receive invoices directly from ComEd, but we will have Direct Energy as the supplier. The supplier comparison chart, which is in your packet, was in the packet and has a historical electrical supply savings.
Does any of the supply come from renewable sources or?
The supplies come from ComEd. ComEd is the electrical, they're the ones behind it all.
Yeah, well,
How they,
there are two pieces of the pie. One is the deliverables and one is the original creator or supplier of the energy. And Direct Energy is, I assume, are we going directly with Direct Energy or are they the supplier for
we will,
ComEd?
my understanding, and I may not have the greatest understanding, is that we will buy energy from Direct Energy that will be delivered by ComEd at the rate supposed. How Direct Energy creates the energy, I do not know.
It's sort of like the way.
Yeah.
The gas thing.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustees Richmond? Aye. George Duberstein?
Aye.
Priest?
Aye.
Georgianne Duberstein?
Aye.
And Williams?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Need a motion for the approval of a raise recommendation for Tony Torres from $21 an hour to $23 effective with his promotion to Public Works Assistant Supervisor effective April 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Tony's been in training for this position for a number of months now, and we've held off, waiting for Israel and actually Dave, who has been kind of monitoring for us too, to say, yes, he's got it, he can lead, and he's been learning more and more of the equipment, more of the procedures, and is doing a quiet but good job. So, hence the advancement. Promotion.
How many people are in Public Works besides Israel and Tony?
Right now, none.
Oh, okay.
We'll hire 5 to 7, excuse me. 5 to 7 seasonals in the summer.
Are we feeling that we need any more during the regular year?
During the winter?
Yeah.
No. No. And?
A couple of months ago, we voted or discussed position salaries. Is this the salary that we discussed for that assistant supervisor position?
I'd have to double check with Kelly, but I'm fairly certain it is. Okay, well, while you're on the discussion of this, I want to do some projection. We have gone, since I've been mayor, through 3, we're in our 3rd public works supervisor. Sometime a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, George and Wally and Mary were on ad hoc committee looking at public works supervisor pay. Now, sometimes it's hard to compare apples to apples, but at that time, they made a recommendation that for, was it 3 years in a row only, that George, 3 years in a row, the public works supervisor got $1 plus the percentage raise to bring him up, and he is right now in the upper 20s, low 30s. All right, thinking ahead for potentially future board members and the 2 that definitely will be here, I've been kicking around the idea for the next administration. Our history is that we train someone and we give them a lot of training in the sense their job here is very broad. Tim at one time left and went to Highland Park, and all he did was shovel asphalt. He thought he was going to advance, and then he ended up coming back here. So Mike DePau, who was before Tim, was with us for maybe 5 years, and then he stepped up to be the supervisor of Eli Township. And at quite an increase in rate, in pay. So I think what the board and the new mayor will have to consider is, do we pay to keep people though in public works that have been around, that know, and have done a good job? Now, it's not gonna come before you during my time, but it's just something to think about. When we hired Tim, it was in some ways, we were in desperation mode. We had nobody, and at least he knew some of the village. And bringing Israel up, it was, well, you know, we had a mentor for him, and there was a lot of training involved there. So something for you folks to think about in the future.
Do they qualify for IMRF also?
Yes, not at this, Tony doesn't at this point. Wait a minute, he is a full-time employee now, so yes.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that helps.
So they both get IMRF.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay.
And doing our research, okay, we found out that when we did the scaling or tried to get some comparable that would keep people here for a while,
Yeah.
you know, we looked at different ranges, and we were probably, we didn't pay hardly anything to anybody, but Mike, and we didn't have anybody to take the place at the level of Mike DePop. So we took into consideration that we started on low and worked, and as he works up and is being, you know, is learning on the job, basically, we were gonna get the increases, and that's how all that came into being. So,
And keep in mind that in that role, he's on call 24/7. And Tony, as assistant, will be on call 24/7.
Yeah.
Tony's a little closer.
Yeah, we not,
Yeah, no, yeah.
yeah, we not only looked at the pay range, but also the benefits,
Right.
which we added insurance and a few other things that we didn't have before. To give you a little extra incentive.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's good.
All right, roll call.
Trustees Richmond. Aye. George Duberstein.
Aye.
Priest.
Aye.
Georgiana Duberstein. Aye. And Williams.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Very good, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's closed 7:08. Thank you all.